Good morning, everybody. It is Erev Shabbos Kodesh in fancy Five Towns, and I'll be in fancy Flatbush in a couple hours. Shabbos with my parents. Baruch Hashem, we're here, doing well. And this week's parsha, probably one of the more dramatic scenes, changes the face of Jewish history, is the story of the Meraglim. And the famous Ramban and the Sfas Emes kind of says close to the same thing, where, what's the problem with the Meraglim? They were great people. What's the Aveira? Did they lie? No, they didn't lie. They saw what they saw. They reported exactly what they saw. Sfas Emes takes an issue with the fact that they said that in their eyes we were like chagavim, like grasshoppers. So they perceived themselves, what they looked like. And Sfas Emes says a Jew shouldn't go around that. It's how you perceive yourself. How you think about yourself. It's how you think people look at you. I don't know, transference. I don't know, with reactive formation. I'm not a psychologist anymore. So the way you think about yourself, you think people put that image on you. And Sfas Emes takes a problem with the fact that they were carrying themselves, that they thought themselves so low that they were looked at, and their perception is that they were like grasshoppers and small and low, and it's not the way a Jew is supposed to look and supposed to think of himself. We're shlichim of Hashem, we're doing great things, and that's how we're supposed to carry ourselves. Famous Ramban and Sfas Emes says kind of the same thing I mentioned, is that what's the big problem with the Meraglim? They want to stay in the Midbar, there's Torah, you don't have to work. Sounds a pretty good deal. You don't have to go to work, you don't have to travel. But the problem is, this is literally not the job of a Jewish person. The job of a Jewish person is to fix the world, is to be talk in the world, to bring Kedusha into the world, to bring the holy sparks back, to fix our guf, to fix everything around us. It's not just to stay in a bubble and learn Torah all day. That's literally not the purpose of a Jewish person. And the Sfas Emes says very clearly, Shlach Hashem ba'olam lo legermayu. This is to serve Hashem's will. It's not for you. It's not for you. It's not for the better what you think is better. It's best what Hashem does, what Hashem wants you to do, which is why right after the Chet Meraglim talks about Trumas Challah, which is a good trivia question. This comes up every few times in Daf Yomi. They'll say, what was the first thing? What's the first Truma? Usually 14 you have to wait for Truma and Meiser. There's only one Truma you do right away, and that's Challah. And every once in a while this comes up in Daf Yomi, and I say this, and people look at me, wow, really good. And literally this week's parsha. And the point is that you went from Lechem and Hashemayim to Lechem from the Aretz, but we could make it higher. We can make the level of the food and the land higher than what's given to us by Hashem. Anani HaKavod, Man min Hashemayim, Kedusha. But no, the Truma, and to make the food from the Aretz could be higher than what Hashem gives us. And that's a pretty important lesson. And this is why we know Moshe's argument against the Malachim, the Torah shouldn't stay in Shemayim. We do things. We do mitzvahs. We have a Yetzer Hara. We have a chance to raise it and make it higher. And this is kind of what the Sfas Emes really talks about, is what the downfall of the Meraglim were. They thought Torah is the higher level, Torah is the highest madrega, but no, it's really to elevate the world, elevate people around us, and mitaken our guf. Our neshama is kadosh. It's our guf that needs to be changed. Our guf needs to be fixed and corrected. We have to kind of change the world that way, not to stay in our little bubble. Every once in a while, when the elections come up, I remember years ago when they were supporting Abutbul and Beit Shemesh, and they're going around, you vote for Eli Cohen, they're going to close the shuls. We're going to close the mikvah. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, really? You have to vote for this and vote for Shas. I'm like, and I'm trying to tell these people, it's important to learn Torah. I get that. But it's important, without being too political, is to also be involved in the world, to fix the world, to be involved in business, to be involved and have an hashpah that way. There's people, non-Jews, that we come in contact with, whether it's professionally, whether it's socially, and to be a Kiddush Hashem in that way is fixing the world. Again, Torah, of course, is important, but there are actions we have to do to fix the world, to fix Eretz Yisrael. going to the army, working at Parnassa, helping people out, chesed. There's more things to fix the world than just learning Torah. And it's the part that we have to kind of keep in mind. It's not really what you think is best, it's what Hashem thinks is best. And what Hashem wants is the people to go to Eretz Yisrael, not just to learn Torah all day, but to fix the world, to do Meiser, to do Tzedakah, to fix the land, and things like that. Just this kind of comes into, has a conversation last week. Eretz Yisrael, thank God, the shuls are back open. We still have to wear masks. And people are making that, begrudgingly going back to shul. Around the corner, we had a minyan, and it was only an hour and a half, and it was outdoors, and the birds, and the sun. It was so nice. Shul, the rabbi speaks. It's another 20 minutes, and we're just talking in shul. And the point is, you may think it's nicer to daven around the corner with 20, 15 people, perhaps, and it's good balkora, your lane, get more aliyas. But it's not what Hashem wants. Hashem wants everyone to daven in shul, to come together and daven more people. You could daven on your block. You can also go to shul. So you may think the davening is better for you. It may be more enjoyable, but it's not what Hashem wants. Rav Hajjus Melech. It's more important and better to daven in a makom that's miyuchad for Torah, a makom that's set aside for kedusha, for tefillah, and this is what Hashem wants. So sometimes we just have to kind of see, am I doing this because I want to do it, or is this the proper way that's supposed to be done by Hashem? Shabbat Shalom.